Well, my name's Jack. Nice to meet you all.
You're amongst friends. You're not alone. Keep training though. Keep training.
They can see you. Well, no, it's just like there's like actually a deal for like people that work here. So it's just like you just go.
God speaks through so many different things. He speaks through nature, speaks through relationships and people. And I think I hear God speak to the people that are here, especially. They'll give words and iron sharpens iron, but I'll just hear things that, you know, someone else in the group's going through, and it just hits my soul directly. And I'm like, oh, that was God talking to me right there through Phil or through Alex or whoever.
She took off running. What a sweetheart she was. We talk about prayer today. Something that I caught for me. I wonder if you catch it. And that's that our prayers become like incense in heaven. And I'm not just making that up. We're going to read about it. Where John, when he was caught up in the Spirit and he was in heaven, he saw an angel take the bowl, a gold bowl, filled with our prayers. And they put fire in these censers and they hurled them to earth. And I was thinking, wow, you know, our prayers, the prayers of the saints, everybody standing here that believes in Jesus is a saint. Praise to God. And those prayers are in this big bowl with John and James and Peter, the disciples. Everyone that's ever come before us and is going to come after us. It's in a bowl. And I started thinking about that. What does that look like? Well, I remember when my son came to me, he was 5 years old, 4 years old, so cute. He goes, Daddy, I want a pair of tennis shoes like you. And I loved hearing that, right? But here's the best part. I knew that he needed tennis shoes. I knew. But it was so sweet in his little voice to say that to me. I need a new pair of tennis shoes, Daddy. When we pray to God, we pray to Abba, Father, Daddy. Daddy, I need. Daddy, I want. We're going to go a little deeper into prayer, what those prayers look like. But you guys know what fire does. But I can't imagine that he mixes fire with our prayers and hurls it at earth. How powerful is that? Our prayers are powerful enough for an angel to hurl it to earth, to cause damage. So is the prayer, please help Johnny graduate from high school? Or is it more a prayer like what she said? Father, your kingdom come. Father, your will be done. Father, come quickly. Father, help me from evil. Help me from the evil one. Are they more like that? That's the ammo that the angel needs when they open that scroll and he hurls our prayers and fire at earth. So anyway, this is not one of those Hare Krishna moments. But I'm gonna set this in the center. I don't want anybody to grab it. Maybe you'll smell it, maybe you won't. But I also think what's kind of cool is that God takes our prayers, just like a lady might or we might, and he puts them in a bowl. He puts them in a bowl and he can smell the aroma.
You gotta blow it out, Phil, if you want it to work.
You what?
You gotta blow it out if we want it to
I
work.
don't know how to do this, so.
Well, that's all right, just blow it out. There you go. Now, there you go. There you go.
Thank you, bro. I don't think I've ever done that.
Took the scroll from the right hand of him who sat on the throne. And when he had taken it, the 4 living creatures and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb. Each one had a harp, and they were holding golden bowls full of incense, which are the prayers of God's people.
Revelation. Revelation 8, 1 through 5. When he opened the 7th seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour. And I saw the 7 angels who stand before God, and 7 trumpets were given to them. Another angel who had a golden censer came and stood at the altar. He was given much incense to offer with the prayers of all God's people on the golden altar in front of the throne. The smoke of the incense, together with the prayers of God's people, went up before God from the angel's hand. Then the angel took the censer, filled it with fire from the altar, and hurled it on the earth. And there came peals of thunder, rumblings, flashes of lightning, and an earthquake.
You know, I don't want to have anything out of the wrong time, and I know how many times I've had the best thing possible, and I've completely wasted it, if that makes sense. And I'm like, man, if I could have just had that back, I would do it. Boom, boom, boom. That way, this way, I would have made that decision or this decision. And so I think like it invites you to have whatever in the future so much sweeter whenever you do get it. I don't know, kind of think of it as like almost like a, you know, if you go to a thrift store and you see an item you want, you're like, man, I feel like I should get that right now. It kind of, sometimes you can be like, man, you know, I'm gonna leave it and see if it's still here.
Yeah, I do that all
And
the
if
time.
I come back and it's still here, it's supposed to be mine.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
And so I kind of would even just approach some of the things like that of like, man, if I wasn't supposed to have it, then that means it's not supposed to be mine yet.
Right.
There's a season for it, you know? So I say all that to say there's definitely hard times in that, because you're like, man, what do I do? Like, is it me? Am I doing something wrong? Like, is my faith not big enough? Am I not being consistent in prayer enough for that one thing? Like, is it me? So I say that all to say, like, there are still moments where I'm like, man, I'm blaming myself, or I'm like, okay, God, what did I do wrong? He's like, man, you didn't do anything wrong. Like, or sometimes there really isn't anything you did wrong. It's just not supposed to be yours.
Living itself, it's a really hard thing to like. There's a fine line sometimes, and you're like, I'm not sure sometimes when I'm living in His will or my own will.
Yeah.
And when I want to be in His will, sometimes I force my will upon it, thinking that that's what He wants. But it's like stepping back is where you get it.
Yeah.
You know? Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So.
If you think God's big enough, start praying about the small things first. You know, like, hey, let's just have a good day today. You know, like, why don't we trust God with doubt?
Quick question. When we think about prayer, do we think more about the content of our prayer or the recipient of our prayer?
I think if we are thinking about what we're praying about, we aren't really praying.
Yeah.
Oh, you were in that matter.
Do you know what I mean by that?
Absolutely.
Like here?
Yeah, I think that's why Alex speaks for all of us. I think most of our prayers are pathetic because we're thinking so much about the shoes. How can I get the shoes? How can I get the shoes? How can I get the shoes? Daddy can have some shoes. You don't care about your dad or anything else. You care about your shoes. And I wonder if the content of our prayers change if we think more about the recipient of our prayer. If we do what you did, the exercise of how big, how loving, how good, how sacrificial our God is.
Yeah, I think the incense was a good visual for me because, like, we see it, we smell it, right? I mean, it's right here, and I'm like coughing and sneezing, and you know, but it's your prayers matter, and that incense is a symbol, right? It's not a magic smoke or anything else, but you can see it, you can smell it. Like God sees it, He hears it, He knows it, that it matters.
What are we praying for? I mean, I hope when we leave today, do we pray like Jesus taught us to pray? I started thinking, what's the parallel between Jesus saying, look, this is how you pray, and then reading this verse? Think about the Lord's Prayer. Your kingdom come. Your will be done as it is on earth, or as it is in heaven.
Here on earth.
Here on earth as it is in heaven. Thank you. Deliver us from evil. How many of us ever say that? God, take the evil one away from me and his minions. Get him away from me and my brothers. How many of us ever say that? Yours is the kingdom forever and ever. I think, to your point, Andy, my prayers are going to change too. I want a prayer so big that when that angel hurls it, it's destructive. That it does get rid of evil. That it does. My mind, I don't know, this isn't the biblical, but my mind is like, okay, they're going to put fire in there, fire in the censer with the incense and our prayers, and that turbocharges it. And then, you know, here's the other thing. How big is our God, right? Our God is about as big as, well, he's about 6 feet tall. No. Dude, he's not mean. He spoke that water into existence. So the bowl, how big is the bowl? Well, you know, like a salad bowl. Really? You think an angel is going to take all the prayers of the saints and hurl a salad bowl to the earth? Dude, it's going to be the size of Hawaii or the size of maybe Israel. And he's going to take it and hurl it. And I got this, I don't know why, I got this feeling when I was praying, saying, God, what do you want me to say to the men? That the words that we're saying are going to be screaming into the evil. It's just going to be screaming. Drought. Done. The lion from the tribe of Judah is coming. So, next time we pray for that Ferrari or that Camaro, maybe we ought to think twice about what's really important. That Jesus is coming again. There's no coincidence that people are praying for beach walks, for lake walks. Some of you guys know that we've been videotaping some of this stuff and droning it and sending it out. Well, it just started last Tuesday. And a man that was in our small group, our beach walk group, said, thank you, Phil, for this. I'm in North Carolina. I'm in Virginia Beach right now. And I've been looking for content. So this video is going to help me. The content's going to help me. I'm going to start a beach walk in Virginia Beach with like-minded men. And I have other people saying, I want to do it. I have people saying, where do you guys meet at? There's no coincidence that that young lady walked up to us and said, hey, I've been praying for men like you to come and to get together. The devil destroys marriages. It destroys people like us. I want guys like you around us, walking with us, encouraging the family about Jesus. So that, I'm going to pray us out. God, we just come before you. Thank you for the men, again, every single Friday, tithing their time in from bed. I mean, it's easy it's a cloudy day and it's cold and it's nice in bed and it's warm. But thank you for them getting out and coming here. God, fill us with your spirit, please. And God, that our prayers are not self-centered. Yeah, I mean, it's normal, but God, we can also pray that your kingdom will come, that God, come quickly. God, can we pray that we're in the mix of something massive? Maybe it's revival. God, that our prayers are a pleasing aroma to you, and that our prayers help fill those bowls so that in the end times come, our prayers are hurled to earth, destroying evil in your quick comeback. Please bless this group, and God, I pray that you multiply this group 1,000-fold across the country. It's a big, bold prayer, but to you, it's like taking a breath. We love you, Jesus. Thank you for playing. Amen.
What would you say to like someone out there that like is, you know, seeing these posts and they're like, oh, I kind of want to go, but I'm a little like scared of, you know, being vulnerable and like being open because they're not really used to that?
Definitely. Once you pull up and you actually come, like you realize that everybody's so nice and like welcoming, and like it's such like a good time, and you actually enjoy it, that like you actually don't really mind like starting to open up a little bit after you go, and everybody sets a pace that like you can kind of go out whatever you like, or like what's most comfortable for you. So I would say that's nice.
Yeah, I think just like most things in life, like there's a risk to reward ratio. So like the riskier you are, the more vulnerable you are, the more you're going to get out of it, and the more that the group opens up. And what I felt just from being here for the short time that I have is like everyone's super welcoming and super just real. Like we're gonna act like we're not human. Like, oh, I can't tell you about this thing, or I can't be real with you, because it's they get past the surface level, you know, facades of the week, and it's nice to be like real, and it's pretty accepting people, you know, God loving people, which is like clutch. Yeah.